Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a brand new straight load, so a Warmblood style trailer. It's a 2026 Cimarron Norstar Warmblood 2-horse gooseneck with a side ramp. This is a really popular option, not only in this gooseneck setup, but also a bumper pull that we offer in this. So before we start walking you through it, let's go ahead and take a look at the layout and the drawing of it so I can show you a few little things on it. 18 foot on the floor, so a very easy to maneuver trailer. It is 6'10" wide, that's standard width. 7'7" tall, so that's where our extra tall, that extra height comes into play for our bigger, taller horses. When we get in those Warmbloods, thoroughbreds, you get into that. They get into that, 16, 17 hand. This trailer empty is 3,900 pounds, so can very easily be towed with some of these newer half-ton pickups. A lot of them are rated for 10, 11, even 12,000 pounds. So very, very manageable trailer that we're looking at. Couple things I want to show you first. Right here is, this is a B&W coupler. We've got a lot of flexibility on how we can set this coupler. With the lower profile handle, it allows for one more hole to be drilled, which gives us that flexibility to slide that within that sleeve and really set this trailer up. We'll kind of circle back around to that and why that's an important piece there. Underneath the gooseneck, we went ahead and upgraded from a manual crank jack to this electric over hydraulic with a manual override. So in this instance here, we don't have to crank this guy up. We push a button and up and down it goes. If you get into an emergency situation or scenario, you can pump this on or off the truck. We've got some how-to videos on how to operate that. Very, very simple. The spare tire is elevated. That's because we're dealing with a 6'10" wide trailer. So, standard width, no wheel well on the inside. But this hydraulic jack has a little bit larger footprint than a manual. So this needs to be elevated to give us that space in order to actually locate it. So we just go ahead and do that. We do that on our trailers that are standard width. With the manual crank jack, we just go ahead and do it, so it's just taken care of in case you ever upgrade, but this one has that already on it. With the jack, you're gonna get an aluminum battery box. It's gonna house a 12-volt battery in there. You're gonna get a battery disconnect. What's nice about the battery disconnect is when I park this trailer and leave it, it's got a lot of lights, I'll show you. You turn that to the off position, it's not gonna drain the battery down, okay? We want to keep this battery nice and charged up. We want to be able to run the jack. Paying for that really nice electric over hydraulic option, we want it to operate how it should. So we need to keep this battery charged up. So with that, a little over a year ago, Cimarron made this standard with this setup, and that is a RedArc charger. Okay, that is a true 3-staging charger. I like to refer to it as a supercharger. Your truck would always work as a trickle charger to this battery in this previous setup with a hydraulic jack and a battery. This here is going to pull the proper amount of amperage from the truck itself and feed this battery based on its level. So we want to keep this guy nice and charged up. More life and longevity to the battery. We want it to operate, push that button up and down it goes. It's also going to indicate if we actually have 12-volt power coming from the truck. When I plug it in, it'll tell us I have power coming from the truck. A lot of times it is a power source issue. It comes from the truck. Maybe it's a blown fuse, something along that line. Maybe something's not wired correctly. So we're not actually pulling power. So all we're doing is basically running this battery down and never charge it in. So when it's plugged in, I can look at this RedArc charger and say, I've got power coming from the truck, or I don't. Now what do we need to figure out? The other thing is if this battery is low, this is a big power draw when we hit this button. So a lot of times we see in the old setup without this RedArc, it would trip the fuse. So it'd blow that fuse on the truck. And then obviously we weren't charging, it wouldn't operate it. So it is a whole thing. But this is built into where it's not gonna actually feed back to the truck. So it's gonna protect the truck as well. But a great piece that they've added. We were messing around with that RedArc for a little while here on some trailers, testing it out, and then Cimarron made it standard. I talked about the coupler and the flexibility there. Gooseneck drop wall height standard is 50 inches. We make ours, especially this type of a setup, a lot of our using trailers, with a 53-inch gooseneck drop wall height. Now, it's not that's the way it is. We take it a case-by-case basis. Do we have air ride? Do we have, 17.5-inch, 19.5-inch wheels where the trailer's already picked up enough? Mainly in these type of using trailers, we'll make it a 53. So we can adjust that coupler, we can get the bed clearance we want, and make sure this trailer's running level. With that 53, that's where that comes into play. It'll allow us that flexibility to, again, making sure we have equal weight distribution on those two axles, making sure that trailer's running nice and level, and having that bed clearance. You'll notice on some of these newer trucks with older trailers, either the trailer's running level with real minimal bed clearance where they can tear up that bed potentially, or it's nosed way up. And so a lot of the weight's running on the back axle, but they have the bed clearance because it's nosed way up. So that's just a good way to kind of tell these gooseneck drop wall heights. Again, we go in and take it a case-by-case basis, but we want it to be able to set up correctly for you. And don't forget, we went tall. We're 7'7" tall, so we went higher on the trailer as it is. So really, is it going to affect storage? You're not going to notice it at all. Okay, on this guy, it's got a front tack room on it. And when we get back out of this tack room, we'll pay attention to this partition wall. But for now, we'll just focus on front tack room. You have the nice big heavy-duty door that Cimarron builds. This is all framework. There's a big, massive tube between this edge and runs to the window itself. So this is a really strong door. Got a brush tray on there. It's a good catch-all for your miscellaneous items. You want to add more brush trays, you could. A door organizer, you can. There's a lot of things after the fact that we can add to these trailers if you'd like. Fold-up step. If it's got a tack room on it and it's in our inventory, we pretty much make sure there's a fold-up step regardless of the width of the trailer, because it makes it so easy transitioning in and out of this tack room by having that step rather than making that large step in here. Whether you're hauling saddles in and out, totes, anything like that, let's make it easier on you. And then if we look directly across from there, there's a recessed post, okay? This, since it's a 2-horse, we set it up with 2 blanket bars, 2 saddle racks. I can tell you, looking at this bottom saddle rack is too low. Well, guess what? We have flexibility. We can loosen these nuts. I can slide it where I want, tighten it up, and lock it into place. So I can move these up, I can remove them, I can change sequencing, completely take them out, store them somewhere really safe. That way you can find them. If you ever sell it, trade it in. But it gives you that flexibility to set these how you want them with this recessed post that's into the wall itself. On the partition wall, you're going to have a couple rows of bridle hooks with carpet behind it, so it's going to protect everything there, but you have a high and low, and then another set back kind of over by the saddle racks, because you're going to have a window looking into the stall area. This is great because when you're traveling, long distances, maybe you stop for fuel, you stop to eat, you can just hop into the tack room and peek in and see how the horses are doing right from here. Up in the nose, you've got a couple windows so you can see out, create a cross breeze in here. The Cimarron necks are 8'2" long, so they're longer than a lot of competitors that run like a 7.5, 7'8", something along those lines. It gives you so much more storage. You can throw a bedroll up here, a mattress, those type of items. You can see out, again, get that cross breeze by having those windows in there. You're gonna have a closed bar over here on the left-hand side, so towards driver's side. That way you can hang some items there. They're not taking up space in the back of your tow vehicle. Show shirts, those type of items. You need to hop in here, change into it. Got it out of the way, and off you go. These bags right here, these are the feed bags. We've just got them set in here right now. But these are feed bags for each one of the stalls that I'll show you here in a little bit. It's framed for an air conditioner. If it's a Cimarron, it has a tack room on it. The framing for an AC is just standard. That's already there because it's the same footprint whether you're doing an air conditioner, a 12-volt fan, or even a manual crank camper style vent. They all have the same footprint. But by having the framework already there, it's going to save you a lot of time and money if you ever did add those type of items onto these trailers. Last thing is you're going to have an LED light right above the door. So that's that big OptiBrite light. You got a lot of light coverage in here with those guys. Those came standard on the 26 models. We were always doing LEDs, but we were always trying to put these OptiBrites on our inventory. We were big fans of them, all depending on availability there for a while, but that is now standard moving forward on all the Cimarrons. So fold up step is really easy to operate. Folds up, out of the way, that simple. Now I briefly mentioned partition wall. So if we kind of step and look at this side ramp going in there, you're gonna notice that wall is not on a 90 degrees off the side of the trailer, you know, cutting across. It's got a little bit of an offset to it. It is a 1 foot, so a 12-inch offset. And so on the back side of that front tack room where that saddle rack is, that's why there's hooks back there, because it opens up a little bit more. You have a little bit more room there. But this comes into play when you walk on, walk off. That's what's so popular about this setup, is you can load horses from the back and then you can offload on the side. So again, walk on, walk off. So we naturally wanted to brake a little bit to give us a little bit more room when we came off the side of the trailer at this side ramp. And what I want you to pay attention is that is not a real narrow ramp. That is 54 inches. So nice big wide ramp. We didn't just settle for a little one. That's why the slant on that little bit of a partition wall there, that 12-inch offset comes into play. So it's a lot easier. It gives us a little bit more room walking those horses on and off. So I'll show you that here in a minute, but there's a good look at that. You've got that bar that goes across to secure. Dutch door up above the side ramp. As you can see, it's got a nice big bus window in it, so we can create airflow into the front of that stall there for the horses. But as you can see, that lays down. Dutch door folds to the side of the trailer. You've got a 16-inch awning light out here. So if you've got some horses tied up you need to see, you've got some light coverage there. Wrap around on the back as well. It's got a bus window in that. We'll show you a little bit more of those when we get there. And then behind is actually hidden as another bus window. When we get to driver's side, I'll shut everything up so you can really get a good look at that. Axles, we have two 5,200-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles. Okay, aluminum wheels, that is standard. Okay, these are a silver with a black accent. It ties in really well with the extrusion and the window frames, in my opinion. Gives it a good look. We love that Cimarron made aluminum wheel standard years ago. Look, the trailers look so good after the years by still having the aluminum wheels versus steel, that, you know, eventually that paint will chip. It'll get that superficial rust. They'll just look a little ugly. So Goodyear tires on this guy, a 16-inch wheel, like I mentioned. Electric brakes, so that tow vehicle will need an integrated brake controller or an aftermarket. If you need help with an aftermarket, we can help you there. The other nice thing is you're gonna have a 1-year no questions asked warranty on these tires. So if you hit road debris, you have a blowout, you catch a nail that can't be patched, they'll replace it 1 year, no questions asked, from the day you purchase it. On the trailer side, you're going to get an 8-year structure warranty and 3-year hardware warranty. So a really good warranty standing behind the trailer itself. As we get to the back here, as you can see, rear ramp with the Dutch doors. So those Dutch doors wrap around to the style. Those are those wraparound style hinges, so they get to the side and out of the way. And then you've got your ramp, you know, load that's flush into the trailer, because it is the ramp with the Dutch doors rather than rear doors with a ramp over. So kind of a little bit of just some options there that we can do with different setups, but this is the most popular that we're looking at. 8-inch awning light on the top rail there. So we have a load light at the back. You can see the marker lights. There's kind of a white X built into that. That is a built-in backup light. So when we put our tow vehicle in reverse, that will actually indicate in all these rear marker lights, so giving us some light coverage here at the back. Okay, butt bars, I got that one out of the way. You can see they've got pads on them, and then chest bars. The butt bars are set at 49 inches above the floor, and the chest bars are 46. What we found was, about 6-8 months ago, maybe it was a year ago now, all the chest and butt bars were set at 43 inches. Well, that was on all their models. So something you're putting a quarter horse in, little cuddler, little reiner, something along those lines. But then when we got over to the Warmblood size trailers, we found they were all 43 inches above the floor. Well, what are we dealing with? Big horses. So we go ahead and we set our chest bars at 46, butt bars at 49 to accommodate these bigger horses. We have a stud divider here, so it's solid on the bottom, pads, and then jail bars up above. So a lot of airflow can move through this airflow type setup with the jail bars themselves. But we love the stud divider because it's going to just protect everybody from themselves so they're not hurting one another. And then you actually have a breakover head grill as well. So, you know, when we go to offload, walk on, walk off, the horse on passenger side can make that turn. Well, this extends a little bit into the opening of that ramp. So what we can do is this guy actually unpins and swivels out of the way. I can actually lock it into the ceiling over here too. So it's not just dangling and flopping around. It's secure off to the side of the trailer. So now we can walk the horse off on driver's side real easily. There's where that offset comes into play there. On this bar over here, one of the cool things is it, I mean, it's a big opening, right? We talked about it, 54 inch, but we have a long bar that goes across there. So what do you do with it? You know, it has the potential of a horse hitting it. Well, this is on a slider. So this guy slides up and out of the way, and we can just secure it right to the side of the trailer. So we don't have to worry about a horse coming by, you tripping over it, them tripping over it, causing a big wreck. It's out of the way and secure. And then again, you've got a bar that goes across the escape door opening as well. It's got a pad on it. Just for secure. I mean, when you come walk off a horse, if they want to bump up against it, they've got that padding there. You're gonna have two-way roof fence above the heads of each horse, so it's gonna force airflow back to them. We can open them forward, we can open them back, whatever we want to there. But airflow is key. That's where that airflow divider comes into play. But that roof is what really separates it, because that is standard on every single Cimarron. So whatever you saw in the background in the video, they all have this roof. It's a 1/2 inch thick reinforced honeycomb design. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot, so I can walk on the roof. It won't dent it, so it'll take substantial hail. But in my opinion, the most important thing is I mean, that's great. It's protecting our investment. But this will keep the stall area about 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. So it's keeping our horses more comfortable in here by having that roof. And also it's gonna be a little bit quieter ride versus aluminum sheeted roofs, because you get metal to metal contact, a little vibration, and it makes a lot of noise in the stall area where you're not getting it there. On the flip side of the trailer, you've got rubber mats, but what's on the bottom is the industry's best floor, okay? So you have a 12-inch extruded deck piece that locks in high and low, tongue and groove. What's really important are those I-beams, those centers that run across the trailer. Okay, they're every 4 inches. So that 12-inch deck piece has 4-inch centers with a V-truss in the middle. So it's extremely strong. There's not a better floor out there on the market than a Cimarron. The easiest way to explain it, wherever you have a horse standing on a Cimarron floor, they're standing on 1, if not 2, support beams. So again, strong foundation, and then we build up from there. So this divider, this is where this trailer also becomes a little bit more versatile from the standpoint of, hey, I want to haul some toys with this. I want a box stall. You know, just give me some flexibility. So many customers want these trailers to be versatile and give them options, okay? So normally what we would have to do is this would remove, but it's a 2-person job. It's a big divider. We got to unpin it, haul it out, set it somewhere. Well, what if you're traveling somewhere? You want to haul 2 head of horses. You want a box stall. Okay, well, now the divider's out. It's a whole thing. Well, this here, this is a sliding divider here, okay? So what I can do is I can unpin it from the floor from the ceiling. If I get in the middle of it, I can push it over against the wall. Lock it into place. Got to push on it a little bit because these guys do have the pads back behind there. But what you can do is, it's that simple to slide it out of the way, and now we've created a box stall. Or we can load, you know, some other toys with the rear ramp. But again, it gets out of the way. This concept came from the show cattle trailers where we have traveling gates. Gates usually run across the trailer. So the track runs on the top rail. We can move those gates forward and backwards. For this, we took it and turned it on its side so it slides out of the way. So it can store over there. You can create yourself this nice big box stall. A couple LED lights in here. There's one on each side. So we have plenty of light coverage there. Let's go ahead and just get this guy back out of the way. Put it back where it belongs. Again, if you're in the middle, it's balanced. As you can see, this trailer's tipped towards passenger side. So it's just naturally wanting to come and work towards where it locks into place. So again, versus a standard style divider where again it's a multiple person job, you know, this can be done by one person, and again slide it out of the way, but it gives you so much just flexibility with this trailer itself. Ramp is very easy to lift up. It's on nice big springs. When I go to shut it, it'll actually get to a point where I can let go and it wants to naturally pull into the trailer itself. I'll shut these wraparound Dutch style rear doors because I want to show you the bus window over here on driver's side. The other thing is these rear Dutch doors have windows in them. So again, creating that airflow is key. You know, when air comes into the trailer, whether it's those roof vents, the front windows that we have on this, it's going to want to pull into the trailer and it's going to want to go somewhere. So if you crack these bus windows, it creates that vacuum. So again, a lot of airflow. Think about a real hot day where no air movement is. And then if you get a little bit of a breeze, it makes you feel better. Well, your horses are no different. So there's that big bus window that goes up and over the back and the hip of the horse. Bus windows, only half of them slide open. So they maximize the size of that window. So again, we can create a lot of airflow. 16-inch load light on the side there, just like we saw on passenger side. The access door, which is great because maybe your side ramps up and you're loading horses. Well, you can easily come out this side of the trailer as well by having this access door, or if you need to hop in, you can. And what's really cool about it is you have a bus window, but you also have the drop-down feed door style as well with the jail bars. So we can get a little bit more airflow by having this type of setup, but you do have the drop-down feed door built into that access door itself. So again, this 2-horse Warmblood straight load with a side ramp and a gooseneck and bumper pull, you can see why it's such a popular setup. Again, you can really tow it with, you know, some of the smaller trucks along those lines, but give you all that storage of a gooseneck, the pull of a gooseneck, and then that moving divider is just fantastic. So I'm going to give you the stock number on it. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse Warmblood. Stock numbers 5 and 250563. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Financing is available, and delivery is an option as well, so we could potentially bring this to your doorstep. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.